Hi, everybody. Today I want to talk about the concept of honor. And honor is something that I believe is very important to God because if you'll notice, everybody is familiar with the Ten Commandments and it always says to honor your mother and your father. But it's in the New Testament when Paul is writing that we really see a lot of references to honor. And to honor means to esteem somebody, to value them, to respect them. And Paul has a lot of writings about how we should honor our fellow Christians. And in Romans 12:10, he says that we should be devoted to other members of the body and that we should try to outdo one another in showing honor. And I think sometimes in churches we kind of overlook that. So I just wanted to do a little reminder today. There are a lot of people in the body, and the Bible says that everybody plays an important role. We all have an important part. So, even if you're like the pinky or you're the little toe, it doesn't matter. You're still playing an important role within the church. And so Paul said we needed to honor each other. And I'm not talking about just giving honor to our pastors or our ministers. I'm talking about giving honor to people who sit, in the pew next to you, or, maybe they sing in the choir, or they lead the music, or they teach children's church, or they take care of children in the nursery. Anybody who's someone at church, they need to have honor, and we need to make sure that we honor them. And so I was going to give you some ideas about honor. A lot of times it can just be a note. It could just be a little a little card that you give them and say, "Hey, I appreciate what you do." Because so many times people who serve in different aspects of the church, and whether that's just hospitality or which is a lot actually, or taking care of children in nursery, many times they don't really get much in the way of thanks. And so just giving them a note and just saying, hey, I appreciate what you do would be important. And what about the people who just sit next to you? There's always stuff that you can think of to compliment them on, from how well behaved their kids are, or, the fact that they're always there. They're just so faithful. Those sorts of things matter to people because somehow in the society in which we live, we don't really give much honor to other people. It's very self centered in our society. It's all about me, hey, what about me? But in the church, it really needs to be about others. You know, God put love in us that we're supposed to share. And this doesn't mean that you absolutely have to love well, okay, you do have to love them, but you don't have to like everyone that you go to church with or for every Christian that you might meet as you just walk out your life. I know some Christians who I will honor and I will love because God tells me to, but they're not really people I want to necessarily hang out with. And that's okay. That's fine. But we are supposed to honor them. And you might say, well, I can't honor these people because they do things that they shouldn't be doing. And it's like, yeah, probably that's true of you too. Because remember, sin is sin. God does not rank sin. Humans do. We just say this sin is worse than this sin on the list. But in reality, God says sin. And so those small things that you're doing that you would like to overlook are just the same as maybe a large thing that somebody did in the past. And once we are saved and once we are part of God's kingdom, remember we all have forgiveness. And so don't don't hold it against somebody what they've done in the past. That's not how we're supposed to live. We are supposed to honor them. So it's always nice to honor the person who's in charge, the minister or maybe the associate pastors, or depending on how large your church is. It's always nice to honor the people who have positions. But remember that the average person who's going to church with you, they also need encouragement. So, notes, words, small gifts, gift cards. People love gift cards. Give them something if you want. But words are really important. Words show honor. Words show that you value and esteem these people. So I would encourage you to do that, to take some time. And you don't have to do it all the time, especially if you feel led though. If you think, oh, that person, I need to tell her that I really appreciate what she does, then you should stop and do it. Don't put it off because then you'll forget. But do that. Honor people. It's just really important. And it is very motivating and very encouraging for others. And so someday when you get a little note or you get a note of encouragement, somebody says something nice to you, just remember the things that we sow, that's what we reap. So, sow good things into people and honor them and encourage them. And if they're going through a hard time, sit with them, let them talk, hug them, give them notes, do what you can to support them. But always show honor because we are commanded to do that. So, you guys have a blessed week.